Hey everyone, happy hump day. Today's video is going to be about which custom audiences you should use specifically for home improvement contractors. Um, so there's many different audiences you can make. A custom audience is an audience that you build based on certain actions that they take. So which ones are most relevant for the home improvement space? We're going to go over. There's four main categories. So I'm just going to go through those. So first of all, in your Facebook Ads Manager, you would go to audiences and then it would take you to a page like this. You might have some, you might have none, depending on how new or old your account is and what you've done with it. But what you would do to create what's called a custom audience is go here, press on custom audience, and now you have your sources. So this is the different types of actions people can take, okay? So let's start with the simple one from your website. So we want to ask Facebook to look at all the people who have viewed your website but maybe didn't become lead. So once you click on that, you have your pixel, and then you can choose from, okay, what action on the website do we want to create a list for? So do we want from all the visitors or people who went to specific pages, in which one you would put in a URL, or one of the events that maybe you already have set up, like a page view, a lead, or a find location. Okay. Now, because of the recent iOS changes, I would say going less specific might be better. So what you can do now, or what's a bit more advisable, which was less so, you can go to all website visitors, and I would even put like and this retention is just mean within people who visit your website within the last how many days. So you can do, um, you can do up to 180. As you can see, if you try to put a high number, you can't. Up to 180, which is okay. Previously, you would probably do maybe 30 or 60 days, but because of the tracking changes on Apple users, you want to increase your date range because then you're going to have a higher audience. Otherwise, your audience might be too small with the new changes. Okay. So you can do all website visitors. I would say still could be very relevant, and you can use this for what's called retargeting. Put people, people visit your website, but then you can use a campaign to retarget with a more exclusive offer, perhaps. And then you would name it whatever you want to name it. Generally, do the type of event for this, and then how many days it is. So I'll just create this just to show. I probably have it somewhere. And then it allows you to create something called a lookalike, or you can create an ad with it, or you can create another custom audience. Okay. And as you can see, it popped up here in the background already. But let's create another one. I do want to show you guys the four different more trending types right now. So that's from the website. Okay. Um, Another one that we have is from your Facebook page. Okay. If you are getting a lot of engagement, you have been doing Facebook ads before, um, or you post quite a bit and you have, people seeing it, engaging with it. You can do either everyone who engages with your page, people who currently follow you. I wouldn't say do this. I would not say to do this one because people who already follow you either became a lead or already, or just like to see, but they're usually not gonna do much. Okay. What we have seen that works better is people who engage with a post or an ad, right? So you can do doing this one actually showed to be good, and it's well for lookalike audiences. Otherwise, you can go with the same logic as the website to anyone who engaged with your page at all, who have taken an action on a post, anything like that, right? And for the Facebook stuff, because it's within Facebook, you can do for any of the Facebook events up to a whole year, 365 days, as you can see here. And again, we would say, Facebook engagement and then 365, right? You would do that. And then make sure you have the correct page listed here. Now, going to custom audiences, again, we have lead form. So if you use the Facebook objective of lead generation, which is going to be an on Facebook lead form, you would use this. This is a strong tool. I do like to use this. And there's 3 main options here. Anyone who has opened this form, people who, and I wouldn't advise this, people who opened but didn't submit the form. So this is one I would use for retargeting. And people who opened and submitted the form, this you would create for the sake of creating a lookalike audience. So you want to find people who are similar. So you build a list of people who have submitted a form, and then create a lookalike to find people who are most similar to those. But for now, we're focusing on custom audiences rather than lookalikes, which are generally more for retargeting. But not only. But so people who have opened didn't submit a form, and then you would select the form. Let's say, so first make sure you click. Let's just say we use this one, and then you had whatever lead forms you have. Let's say this, and then you can choose more than one as well. And then retention here as well. For the lead forms, it only goes up to 90, as you can see here, right? So whoops. So we go 90. And this would be good for retargeting, again, with maybe a more exclusive offer for them to fill. Or maybe you can change up the questions a little bit. If you used a certain lead form, maybe change it up a little bit. If you see maybe there were too many questions, maybe take some off, but keep at least one qualifying question other than the contact info. Would be my advice. And again, you would name it in a similar fashion, lead form, not submit, 90, something like that. Okay, so this is definitely one you want to kind of go to for your retargeting. And then video, I would say, is actually showing to be very popular. Now, for videos, you have a lot of different types of very similar categories. So the ones we've seen that are working better are something called through play. People have either completed or watched at least 15 seconds of your video. Otherwise, people who have watched at least 75% of your video. And in a few instances, people who viewed at least 3 seconds of your video. This is good if you have shorter videos in general. Within 30 seconds, let's say, if you have shorter content, which is fine. It's actually, we do that quite a bit. So these 3 are all categories. Now, we would advise to to make it into 3 different audiences, not all in the same one, so you can kind of differentiate between which works best. Okay, now for each one, you will also have to choose one of your videos. Okay, so you would choose whichever one, and then confirm, and then it would let you create this audience. And then you could, again, name it in the same fashion. And however you want, really, but maybe the event name plus maybe even the video name, and then the amount of days. Okay, now I did say 4, but there is one more that I want to share. A very good, one of the strongest custom audiences. It's called the customer list. Now, what this is if you have previous clients, okay, I'll say this right now. If you have previous clients, if you have at least 100 previous clients, you can take their contact info, at least on a CSV file, and upload it here. What Facebook does then, the minimum you need to have is 100, and then at least the names and their emails. But the more info you have, the more likely it can match. So what it does is you can get a list of these people who have already become your clients, and then create a lookalike. So what you would do, you would download the template, which will give you like an Excel, and then you would fill it out. Sometimes if they have a lifetime value, but not so much for here, because generally, you have one job or maybe a few jobs for a single client. So you would upload it here. You can name the audience. You would click next, and you would need to identify, kind of like the email, the names, where they are, and then you would go on to create this custom audience. So it would generate the list. Now, if you have, let's say, 100 names and 100 emails, it won't necessarily find 100 people, right? Because people maybe use different emails from what you have than what they have on their Facebook. That's why the more the better, right? But then it starts to map it out, and then upload, and you have that list there. Maybe you want to retarget them if you have a new project that you want to advertise, but otherwise you would use that to create a lookalike. All right. So these are the strongest, again, 1, 2, and also Instagram if it's strong, but generally you find Facebook is strong within this niche. Lead form 3, video 4, and then customer list 5, and bonus 1. Okay, a lot of these other ones aren't as relevant for the home improvement niche, so if you focus on these ones, you'll be great. All right. If you have questions, let me know. Good luck.